This was a tough fight, and this is a tough state. But I know you, New Jersey, and I love you.
Mikie Sherrill becomes only the second woman ever to be the governor of New Jersey, and the first female Democrat. It was a hard-fought battle and one of the most expensive in the state's history. In the end, she won big, and now getting ready to lead the state that has 9.5 million residents. Governor-elect Mikie Sherrill is our guest this morning.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Up Close. I'm Bill Ritter. Mikie Sherrill, former Navy helicopter pilot, former prosecutor, current Congresswoman, getting ready to add a big new job to her resume, Governor of New Jersey. In January, she takes the reins from fellow Democrat Phil Murphy. She beat Republican Jack Ciattarelli by 13%. Many thought the race would be closer after Republican gains last November in the presidential election. But in this race, the Democratic person won convincingly. It was mirrored in other states as well. I talked to Governor-elect Mikie Sherrill. Congresswoman, congratulations on the victory.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Are you flying high? Have you pinched yourself? Does it really get to you sometimes and say, "Whoa, look what I did"?
It feels great. I'm really excited. I'm not sure how much time I've had to really take it all in because we're already hard at work. We have the transition team going now. So we've announced several members of the transition team, my chief of staff, my chief counsel, and we're continuing to build out this government and at the same time continue to engage with people because we still have all of these ongoing issues with the federal government. And right now, for example, both the crisis of the SNAP funding and what's going on at Newark Airport. And we can constantly see the federal government trying to really govern in a way that's going to serve people. So all of the work is still being done.
Well, rather than wait to get into this, let me just ask this. We'll go backwards first. When you have a situation and all of a sudden the airports are shutting down, it kind of gives them a little boost, right? Everybody in the country to say, hey, we got to fix this. Is there a fix going on right now?
Well, the fix is to open the government. There are longer term fixes. Obviously, we had seen air traffic go down by about 25% at Newark because of the problems with air traffic controllers and with getting more equipment towards to the Philly area where they're now controlling aircraft. And they haven't moved as quickly as I'd like to see on that. And I've been very active in that area. But now we're seeing a further 10% cut in air traffic because of the air traffic controller shortage, because of the government shutdown and continued chaos and delays. So the first order of business is the president needs to get the government open. He's delayed far too long, and we're seeing the ramifications now.
You have two jobs, if I hear this correctly, correct? You got a governor-elect and you're a congresswoman.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And unfortunately, both of those jobs depend on the president starting to govern better and stopping all this whole-scale attack on the economy. I'm really hoping that this election, this was a huge juggernaut of an election with a huge, almost 14-point win here in an area where we saw a 10-point swing in the last election. So to see, Hudson County swing by 22 points, Passaic County swing by 18 points, Gloucester County, I think my opponent won it by 11 points. I just won it. So again, we're seeing I moved every single county of all 21 counties to the left. That is a shot across the bow. That is a warning sign for Republicans everywhere that they need to start actually taking governing seriously and serving the people of this country and certainly of New Jersey.
Ms. Sherrill, this was a win by a bigger margin than the polls had shown. Did we get it wrong, or did something happen in the last couple of weeks to change things?
Well, I think the polls themselves, you saw a lot of polls that were 5 to 8 points, and those were often based on the last two election cycles, which were very bad for Democrats. So that felt to us like a very conservative estimate of what our margin would eventually be. And then when we saw the vote by Bills in the early in-person voting. I think, that really showed the movement. But at the same time, I would say there was just a lot of, my opponent was just putting out a lot of information. We saw it in the right-leaning media, just all these attacks on that I was leading in most of the polls. And that seemed to resonate quite a bit through the entire electorate in a weird way, because I was seeing on the ground considerable amount of energy, momentum, movement. We were going to, ruby red Ocean County and on a Thursday afternoon and just seeing hundreds of people come out. So we were seeing the momentum and energy. The polling we thought was very conservative based on the last two elections, but the narrative felt very off.
Yeah. What do you say to voters in New Jersey who didn't vote for you? It was still 40% or so. What are you asking of them as you get ready to go to office?
To let me know what it's going to take to create success for them and for their families. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure kids have a great education. Okay. I want to make sure families have great opportunity. I want to see this state deliver for middle-class families.
We heard many times, so many times. You may have seen this television ad, I'm not sure. What's one thing you would do right away if elected? I'm going to ask you that again. I'll wait for you to have an answer, though. And what are the first things you're going to do when you take office?
Well, on day one, I'm going to freeze rate hikes on utility costs. We've already been working with utility companies, and we'll continue to sit down with them to make sure that we have this happen on day one. But I'm also going to enter the tariff lawsuit, because we know this tariff program is, basically an extortion racket where the president's making billions, but the people of New Jersey are paying more. So we'll enter with states because that is a congressional mandate. I'm going to enact the kids' online safety agenda because we know the mental health crisis going on with our children. I'm also going to start to tackle the first budget right away so we can expand power into the grid and have a longer term driving down utility costs, as well as expanding that first-time homebuyers program so people can get their foot in the door in the market. So in all these ways, really get to work on driving down costs for New Jerseyans.
Okay. One of the more interesting points in this campaign, it seemed to me, certainly the second debate broadcast right here on Channel 7, and it was my honor to be one of the people there. You ran commercials about a clip after Jack Ciattarelli gave Mr. Trump an A and praised his policies that are some who believe this led to a victory from voters and a message to Mr. Trump. Do you believe that?
As we were doing this, I was speaking to that traditional Democratic powerful base of working people, and then layer in the people I've always had a real connection with, suburban women and moderate Republicans, and we were bringing people together around these ideas of making government work well, of this idea of delivering on great public schools, delivering on good job opportunities, taking on the status quo and fighting for the people of New Jersey. And my opponent was offering the opposite. He was tying himself 100% to Trump, who pointed out he did. And that is seen right now as very bad government. It's driving up costs for everyone. It's creating chaos, and it's ruining job opportunities.
Are you, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He just at the same time wasn't willing to fight for the people of New Jersey. He wasn't willing to take on that fight. I've always taken on anyone when it comes to serving people here.
Are you ready to take on Mr. Trump if he wants to, say, bring police officers, national police officers, into your New Jersey?
If you're talking National Guard troops, certainly.
Yep.
If you're talking about federal police officers who are here, then they will have to follow the law and the Constitution. But yes, look, I've been both a federal prosecutor and a member of our military. And the idea of having military troops on the streets in a policing capacity, it's illegal. It's against the Posse Comitatus Act and the Insurrection Act, and courts are finding as such. And I will be in court right away to stop anything like that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I am going to be working every single day to get federal resources back into the state of New Jersey and try to get this federal government to stop pummeling the national economy because it harms New Jersey citizens.
He's also taken money away from New Jersey and New York, building the tunnel under the Hudson between New York and New Jersey. What can you do to bring that back?
Well, that's illegal as well. That is money that Congress has appropriated to that tunnel. And so I'll be fighting in court and otherwise, but also working with people in transportation to try to help get that money back at work because, you know, as we see, the president having real economic problems right now. This is an area of the country that produces about 20% of the nation's GDP. This is a powerhouse of our economy. And so hopefully, as the president sees the economic damage he's doing, this could be a success story as we drive the economy here in the country.
Mikie Sherrill, now that the campaign is over, I can ask you a personal question. What did you learn? Well, it's political, I guess, as well, but it's both. What did you learn about New Jersey voters? And what did you learn about yourself as you went through this? Because it's an exhausting thing.
It was incredibly exhausting, but so worth it, because I'll tell you, when you run a campaign like this, it really sets you up well to govern. I don't run campaigns to campaign. I run campaigns to govern. And so speaking to thousands of people, hearing exactly what it was that was keeping them up at night, that was making it hard for them, the policies that were working and the policies that weren't, the programs that were helping them and the programs that were a failure. Learning about that over the past year will make me, I think, a much better governor. And at the same time, forming the connections to all of these communities across our state and forming the feedback loops I'm going to need to know as I govern if things are working or not working is going to be so powerful.
And you're going to take office, but you're going to leave your office in Congress. And is that what you expect? You must be a little sad about that too, right?
Certainly. I've been it's been an incredible honor to serve in Congress. I have really loved working hard to deliver for people and issues like Picatinny Arsenal and the House Armed Services Committee and the delivered for flooding. So I'm going to really miss that work, but I'm so excited to begin governing here in the state.
And we thank Governor-elect Mikie Sherrill.